WWE SmackDown Results and Winners, January 3rd, 2025, Kevin Owens strikes again. Tiffany Stratton pins Nia Jax, and the Bloodline's dominance continuesDIY retains against MCMG. LA Knight attacks Shinsuke Nakamura. Drew McIntyre hugs Cody Rhodes, and more. The first episode of Friday Night SmackDown in 2025 aired live from the Footprint Center in Phoenix, Arizona. The January 3rd episode marked a milestone as it was a 3-hour show, kicking off the Blue brand's transition to the new format. This special episode became the first of its kind, setting the tone for what would be a game-changing year. The Stamford-based promotion began the year with an electrifying Friday Night SmackDown. Multiple top stars were advertised for the show, including Undisputed WWE Champion Cody Rhodes, WWE Women's Champion Nia Jax, LA Knight, Solo Sikoa, Kevin Owens, and more. Get to know what happened this Friday, as we have the complete summary, highlights, results, and winners list for the December 27th episode of WWE SmackDown. WWE SmackDown Summary and Highlights. Cody Rhodes kicks off 2025. Rhodes made his way into the ring amid much fanfare as he picked up the mic to address the Arizona crowd. Cody greeted the Phoenix crowd and stated that WWE was on the cusp of changing everything. Starting tonight with SmackDown going to 3 hours and Raw heading to Netflix, the American Nightmare revealed that he was not cleared to wrestle because of Kevin Owens. Rhodes reflected on his title defense against Owens at the Royal Rumble PLE. Drew McIntyre's music hit as the Scottish Warrior made his way through the entrance ramp. Drew McIntyre takes shots at Kevin Owens for running around with a replica title and tells Cody Rhodes he wants to help him. #SmackDownPIC.Twitter.com/NUC0GH. The Movement Pro Wrestling at the Movement XX, January 4th, 2025. Drew stated that he saw Cody needed a friend, but Rhodes interrupted him. Rhodes said that if McIntyre was going to tell the truth, then he would also tell the truth. The champion then remarked that he would love to say Drew had become a beast, not just inside the ring, but on the microphone as well, but he didn't believe it. Rhodes asked Drew to cut the facade and just admit if he wanted a shot at the title. Drew replied that he was telling the truth and that he wasn't there to hurt him, but to help him. McIntyre stepped onto the edge of the ring and told Cody to watch his back. At that moment, Kevin Owens ambushed Rhodes again, attacking his neck. KO stared at McIntyre as he continued to assault Rhodes, who began to fight back. WWE officials and security rushed in, and a brawl broke out. Security dragged Kevin Owens out of the ring as others held Cody inside to defuse the situation. The huge brawl between Cody and Kevin. #SmackDownPIC.Twitter.com/DisLMZZ. The Movement Pro Wrestling at the Movement XX, January 4th, 2025. Shinsuke Nakamura vs. Andrade. The bell rang as Nakamura charged toward Andrade, but Andrade fought back, launching the champion out of the arena. He then landed a moonsault from the second rope, taking Nakamura out. Back from the commercials, Andrade was still in control as Nakamura fought back, utilizing his striking range. Nakamura climbed to the second rope and took Andrade down with a knee. Shinsuke went for the cover, but Andrade kicked out. Shinsuke exposed the turnbuckle, similar to their last match, but Andrade pushed him onto the exposed turnbuckle. Andrade then landed a running double knee and went for the cover, but Nakamura kicked out. Andrade went to the ropes, landed a moonsault on his second attempt, and went for the pin again, but Nakamura kicked out. Andrade hit Nakamura with a brutal spinning back elbow and again went for the cover, but Nakamura kicked out once more. Both men were on the second rope, and Nakamura dropped Andrade face first onto the ring post. Nakamura lined up Andrade for the Kinshasa and connected, picking up the win via pinfall to retain the U.S. Championship. Nakamura wins the match, but here comes LA Knight. #SmackDownPIC.Twitter.com/PSSGBC4K. The Movement Pro Wrestling at the Movement XX, January 4th, 2025. LA Knight's music hit as he darted into the ring, immediately starting to beat down Nakamura. Knight went for the BFD, but Nakamura managed to escape and rolled out of the ring. Knight grabbed the mic and warned Nakamura, saying he would come for his title and would stomp Nakamura to dust every time he came around. Backstage, Pretty Deadly confronted Apollo Crews, mocking him for telling the truth to the Street Profits. Cruz reiterated that it wasn't Los Lotharios who attacked the Street Profits, but DIY. Legado del Fantasma then appeared, with Santos Escobar asking Pretty Deadly to lie to their faces if they wanted to deny the truth about them. Pretty Deadly tried to defuse the situation, but things quickly turned ugly as Legado del Fantasma attacked them. Pretty Deadly call Apollo Crews Apollo stooge over telling the Street Profits the truth about DIY. Pretty Deadly are then approached and jumped by Legado del Fantasma for blaming them for the attack. Nick Aldis then invites Pretty Deadly for a little chat eyes #SmackDown back from commercials. General Manager Nick Aldis and security rushed in to break up the brawl. Afterward, Aldis told Pretty Deadly to stay, as he had something to discuss with them. General Manager Nick Aldis is with Pretty Deadly as DIY steps in and asks why Aldis is taking Apollo Crews' word instead of these gentlemen. Aldis states that he uses his mind and leaves. Nick Aldis confronts Pretty Deadly for lying about the attack on Street Profits. DIY then come in and stand up for Pretty Deadly. DIY tries to persuade Pretty Deadly to help them in their match tonight, and they may be next in line for the title shot if they do. #SmackDownPIC.Twitter.com/FK4S8ZPWDT. The Movement Pro Wrestling at the Movement XX, January 4th, 2025. Ciampa and Gargano attempt to persuade Pretty Deadly that they have their tag title defense against MCMG tonight, and that the two should help them. Mykin versus Piper Niven. Niven started the match, showcasing her brute force, while Mykin fought back with her quickness, sending Niven outside the ring. In the final moments, Niven went for a cannonball, but Mykin rolled out of the way, causing Niven to crash. Mykin then landed a cannonball of her own, taking Niven down. Niven responded with a vicious Piper driver, but Mykin kicked out at 2, keeping the match alive. Piper climbed to the top rope, but Mykin countered with a knee, stunning Niven. Mykin followed up with an eat defeat on Niven and went for the cover, picking up the win. She celebrated her win by mocking U.S. champion Chelsea Green Paul Heyman. The Wiseman Paul Heyman stood in the ring with a microphone, addressing the Phoenix crowd. Heyman began by wanting to set the record straight ahead of the upcoming Tribal Combat match to decide the real Tribal Chief. He revealed that he and Roman Reigns had trained and prepared Solo Sikoa to be the next in line for the moment when Reigns was ready to step down as the head of all of WWE. Heyman then revisited the mishap at WrestleMania, where Reigns lost, and Sikoa stole the Ula Fala from Roman's bag. Paul Heyman is absolutely cooking Solo Sikoa in front of everyone right now, faced with tears of joy. #SmackDownPIC.Twitter.com/DXB8XZeb48. Fade at Fadeaway Media, January 4th, 2025. The Wiseman reiterated that Sikoa had stolen the Ula Fala and gotten rid of both Jimmy USO and him, creating chaos in the bloodline. Heyman then called Sikoa's bloodline a bunch of filthy animals and mentioned that Jacob Fatu wasn't allowed outside the New York